No matter how packed our schedules are or how many responsibilities pile up, there's a space within us that remains untouched. This feeling of emptiness is like a quiet echo, reminding us that being busy isn't the same as being present. The frantic pace of daily life gives us the illusion of progress, but more often than not, it takes us nowhere truly meaningful. We live in a society that pushes us to chase goals and rack up achievements, yet these victories seem to slip through our fingers as soon as we reach them. Something essential gets lost along the way, as if we're always thirsty, even though every new triumph briefly quenches that thirst. What we're missing, perhaps, isn't found in what we do but in what we lose touch with as we race through life. There's a deeper part of ourselves that remains on the sidelines, quietly waiting for our attention. But the more we dive into the hustle, the further we drift from who we are. The emptiness we feel isn't a mistake or a flaw, it's a signal, a gentle call to reconnect with what can't be measured or rushed. It's a pause that, paradoxically, opens the door to wholeness. The duality between doing and being. In every moment, we are pulled between what we need to do and who we simply are. Life feels like a balancing act, on one side, tasks and responsibilities, on the other, a quiet call to just exist. The challenge lies in finding harmony without letting one overwhelm the other. We are conditioned to measure our worth by what we produce, as if our accomplishments are the only proof of our significance. But being transcends time and achievements, it exists even in the pauses between one goal and the next. Ignoring this dimension traps us in a constant state of disconnection from our true essence, perpetuating a cycle of dissatisfaction. Emptiness arises when we get lost in the urgency of doing, forgetting that we are more than what we accomplish. Like music without rests, life loses its melody when everything becomes non-stop action. True fulfillment comes from consciously embracing this duality, recognizing that both doing and being have their own time and place. The human dimension and the ego. A life driven by doing is like a fast-flowing river, always rushing toward the next destination. With every achievement, the ego whispers that it's still not enough, pushing us toward the next goal. This endless chase isn't just an external trap, it's an internal structure that keeps us running in circles. The ego, hungry for recognition, thrives on chaos and comparison. It turns peace into restlessness and joy into expectation, fueling a cycle of frustration that never seems to end. The more we give in to its demands, the more we drift away from our true nature and the simplicity that already lives within us. Like a distorted mirror, the ego makes us see life through the lens of having and doing, clouding the dimension of being. It creates obstacles where there are none and turns challenges into battles, making it harder to connect with what really matters. The key isn't to fight the ego but to learn how to observe it and act beyond its illusions. Losing connection with the present moment. Caught between memories of the past and anxieties about the future, the present moment slips through our fingers. The restless mind rarely lets us settle into the simplicity of now. It is in this state of disconnection that life passes us by, like watching a sunset from a window while being distracted by something else. The constant push to keep moving pulls us forward, while the call to simply be invites us to pause and experience the present. Without finding balance between these two forces, we sink deeper into dissatisfaction, missing the chance to recognize who we truly are. Being in the present often requires letting go of control and allowing life to unfold as it will. Reconnecting doing with being is only possible through a conscious choice, to slow down and breathe. This doesn't mean avoiding responsibilities but rather turning every action into an opportunity for presence. The present moment is the only reality we truly have, and it is where our essence can express itself in its purest, most complete form. The nature of being, silence and presence. There is a depth to being that cannot be found in words or achievements, but in the silence that surrounds every moment. True presence is like a calm lake, It has no need to prove itself, it simply reflects what is. Even amid the chaos of modern life, this dimension is always within reach, quietly waiting for our attention. Being present isn't a skill to master but a natural state of existence. In this inner silence, each breath becomes an anchor point, and the urgency of time fades away. Being is like a flame that never goes out, even when it's buried beneath the ashes of routine and daily worries. When we allow ourselves to rest in this state, we find a peace that transcends external circumstances. Presence becomes a gateway, reconnecting us with our essence and the harmony already within us. The ongoing practice of silence teaches us that even in the midst of life's storms, we can always come home, back to ourselves. Meditation and the practice of mindfulness. Meditation is like an inner compass, guiding us toward the present and away from the endless maze of the mind. When we sit in silence, we break free from the ego's repetitive patterns, which constantly trap us in the past or push us toward the future. Mindfulness is an invitation to experience life exactly as it is, without filters or judgment. Each moment of mindfulness offers us the chance to observe thoughts as passing clouds, without identifying with them. In this simple act of observation lies freedom, for we are not what we think we are. As the mind slows down, presence takes root, and our actions begin to align with the state of being, creating a subtle and harmonious dance. Over time, this practice reshapes how we engage with the world. It's not just about relaxing but about living intentionally, acting with wisdom rather than reacting impulsively. Doing becomes less of a race and more of a natural expression of being, and each mindful step brings us closer to the essence that has always been waiting to be lived. The challenges of living mindfully. Awakening to consciousness is like lighting a candle in the darkness. The ego becomes unsettled and tries to extinguish the flame. It creates subtle distractions, convincing us that mindfulness is out of reach amid life's daily concerns. In this way, we resist the present moment, unaware that this resistance is the very source of the restlessness we seek to escape. Mindfulness teaches us to notice these automatic impulses without being swept away by them. Like a silent observer, we recognize when the mind starts to wander and gently bring our attention back. Mindfulness isn't a straight path but a continuous process of falling and rising, forgetting and remembering. Every obstacle that arises becomes an opportunity to deepen awareness. Being present doesn't mean avoiding challenges, it means embracing them as part of the journey. Living mindfully becomes a daily practice of surrender and observation, where each difficulty reveals a new layer of inner growth. Turning challenges into opportunities for growth. Moments of crisis reveal who we truly are. Every conflict acts as a mirror, reflecting parts of ourselves that still need understanding and integration. When we face difficulties, we have the opportunity to transform these experiences into stepping stones toward a higher awareness, shedding the illusions built by the ego along the way. Spiritual growth isn't about avoiding pain but learning to walk through it without losing balance. Acceptance of what is doesn't mean resignation, it's the ability to respond with wisdom and presence. Each challenge, no matter how difficult, carries the seed of a valuable lesson, an opportunity to break free from the invisible prisons we've created. True awakening happens when we realize that even loss is part of the journey. Instead of clinging to resistance, we learn to flow with life and trust its wisdom. In this way, every hardship becomes an opening to something greater, a portal to deeper dimensions of our being. Integrating being and doing in daily life. The true art of life isn't about choosing between being or doing, but about finding a natural harmony between the two. Each moment lived with presence becomes an opportunity to expand our awareness, as if every mundane task could turn into a silent ritual of self-discovery. It's not about avoiding problems but seeing them as opportunities for learning and growth. When we integrate being and doing, even the simplest actions take on new meaning. Paying a bill, preparing a meal, or listening to someone becomes more than just a chore, it becomes an authentic expression of our inner state. This integration dissolves the separation between what we do and who we are, allowing us to act from our essence instead of merely following external expectations. The continuous practice of presence requires patience and persistence, but the reward is immense, a life that feels clearer, calmer, and more aligned with purpose. Over time, this state becomes natural, revealing that fulfillment isn't found in external pursuits but in the way we live each moment. The greatest achievement is to fully exist. The essence we search for outside has always been within us, silently waiting for our awakening. There's no need to chase after what we already are, we simply need to recognize this truth and align it with our actions. Every mindful step we take toward the present is a celebration of life in its purest form. True fulfillment isn't found in the next achievement but in acting in alignment with our deepest truth, moment by moment. To live fully means being present with every breath, embracing every challenge, and finding beauty even in imperfection. This is the greatest achievement we can reach, the freedom to simply be. This journey is just beginning. What have you found most challenging along the way so far? How can you integrate presence into your routine starting today? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so we can continue exploring the deeper dimensions of life together.